We go to the AFC West on our next preview here in the NFL. We're doing all 8 divisions for the second straight year. This is for Verts. My name is Harrison Graham. Chiefs, Chargers, Broncos, Raiders. We break them all down here on today's show. That, of course, was the order of how the division played out a year ago as Kansas City dominated once again at 15-2. Both the Chargers and Broncos outseeded expectations by winning 11 and 10 games respectively, and then the Raiders bringing up the rear at 4-13 a year ago. But I think all 4 teams have reasons for optimism here in 2025, and probably all 4 teams have playoff goals in 2025. Certainly that applies to the Kansas City Chiefs. The playoffs is kind of the minimum threshold, right? 10 straight. That is what they are going for in the AFC West. They have won this division 9 years in a row. This would be 10 straight under the leadership of Andy Reid. Of course, it would be the 8th straight with Patrick Mahomes as the starting quarterback. And I actually did some research and was like, I wonder what the record is in terms of most consecutive years winning a single division. It was actually the Patriots with Tom Brady and the boys, 09-19. They probably would have had more, but if you remember in 08, Tom Brady tore his ACL and Matt Castle stepped in. They still won 11 games, but they did not win the division that season. But for the next 11 years, they did. And when it comes to the Kansas City Chiefs, as we break them down first, one thing that has kind of gone away the last couple of years, especially without Tyreek Hill, is the explosive vertical downfield passing attack. And a lot of the chatter this offseason, and we've seen it in training camp, is that they're looking to bring that back into the offense. Air Mahomes is back. At least that is the hope, and that is the expectation in Kansas City. They've got the playmakers to do it where they necessarily haven't the last couple of years. Mahomes talked about being more aggressive with his decision-making this season. And if you look at his yards per attempt by year, what stands out is the last 2 years in particular have been the lowest of his career. It's been a lot of quick game, underneath passing, and I think a lot of that has just been based on personnel, right? I mean, they've had guys like Juju Smith-Schuster, who's not really a vertical passing attack. They still have him, but he's like their 4th or 5th receiver now. They've had, Travis Kelce has slowed down a little bit. He doesn't stretch the field like he once did. They've dumped the ball off to running backs. They just haven't had the difference makers at receiver, especially when Rashee Rice got injured a year ago. But I think this group they have this year is the best wide receiver core they've had since they traded Tyreek Hill after the, 2021 season? 2022, whenever it was? I think it was after 2021. Because they did then win the next 2 Super Bowls. So turned out to be a good trade. It just kind of forced them to be more of a defensive-laden team, methodical offensive team the last couple of years, but I think they're looking to bring that explosiveness back with Rashee Rice. Marquise Brown is healthy. Xavier Worthy is having an unbelievable camp. I think that trio is going to be awesome. Rice is going to get suspended, miss some time, but they should have enough to overcome that until he gets back. And by the way, the defense is still loaded. They have studs at every level of this defense. Chris Jones is still playing at an all-pro level. George Karlaftis just got paid. He's one of the better young incoming edge rushers in the National Football League. Nick Bolton's one of the better off-ball linebackers, and Trent McDuffie's an all-pro at corner, and it sounds like they're working on a contract extension with him. My one big question for this team this year is, can they get another corner to step up? They've got Jalen Watson, Josh Williams, Najee Johnson, these guys still hanging around. Watson is solid. I don't love the rest of the group. It sounds like McDuffie might shift out and play a little more outside corner this year. If that's the case, do they kick Shamari Connor inside to the slot from his safety position? So we know Spags is going to mix and match on the back end. He'll have it up schematically, but they do need one more corner to emerge in that secondary. They didn't really replace L'Jarius Sneed a year ago. Will the Chiefs win the AFC West once again? Type Y for yes, you think they will, or type no if you don't think they will for the first time in a decade. Going to be hard to pick against them, but this division is very, very good. One team looking to take that throne from Kansas City is the Los Angeles Chargers, who were close several years ago when they won 12 games in a year. The Chiefs won 13. They have actually not won the division since 2009, which is kind of crazy to think because they obviously had a bunch of good teams with Phillip Rivers. They've had a few good teams with Justin Herbert, but it's been more than 15 years since they've won this division. But now with Jim Harbaugh here, obviously that pairing with Herbert, they have high aspirations winning 11 games last year when most thought they'd win 8 or 9. Now, they did suffer a huge blow recently. Losing Rashawn Slater for the year is pretty significant. I mean, he's one of the best left tackles in the league, so not only did they lose one of their better players, it's at a critical position. Now, they did have the luxury to slide Joe Alt over to left tackle, which is big. Trey Pipkin's going to play on the right side, so that position could be a bit of a weakness, but I do think Alt will be able to kind of fill those shoes, but now right tackle becomes kind of a question mark. So that definitely is a bit of a domino effect. I think one area where they can make up for it a little bit is the receiving core should be more reliable this year. Ladd McConkey, I thought, did some really good things as a rookie. You bring Keenan Allen home. He obviously has a good rapport with Justin Herbert. Trey Harris has flashed in training camp as a rookie. Quentin Johnston did some good things last year. He's had a good training camp. And then this Keandre Lambert-Smith, a rookie out of Auburn, I believe they got him in the 5th round. He's made a bunch of plays. So they got 4 or 5 guys that they should feel pretty good about, whereas last year it was Ladd, and then Quentin Johnston would flash a bit, but that was kind of it. Now you bring back Old Reliable and Keenan Allen, you add Trey Harris, you get Lambert-Smith. They should go 4 or 5 deep at receiver. And I look at this team now, and I get it, the Rashawn Slater thing, that sucks. I mean, that's a tough blow offensively, no question about it. But it's time for Justin Herbert to win a playoff game. I'm a huge Herbert guy. I've defended him. It's year 2 with Harbaugh now. Like, these people who aren't Herbert defenders, all the ammunition they have is, well, where's the playoff success? I think this year, if he goes another year without winning a playoff game, barring something catastrophic like just injuries all over the place, I do think some of those criticisms will be valid. He played horrible against Houston in the playoff game last year. They blew that big lead to the Jags a couple of years ago. It's time to break through and win a playoff game here in 2025 because the defense is going to be really good again. Jesse Minter is one of the best in the business calling defense on that side of the ball. They do have some minor question marks at defensive tackle and in the secondary, but Minter's going to have those boys ready to go. Khalil Mack is still playing at a very high level coming off the edge, rushing the quarterback. So I think they're going to be very solid on that. And even if they take a slight step back because they were top 5 in more categories, they're going to be top 10. It's just going to come down to can Justin Herbert break through in the big spot in the postseason, because I do think they'll be a playoff team. And the one big question to me comes back to the offensive line. Can they overcome the Rashawn Slater injury? The Joe Alt thing, I have no issues with him going back to left tackle. He's going to be fine there. That's where he played at Notre Dame. It's, is the right tackle a major hole? Is the interior going to be a bit of a problem? We'll see. I think they can overcome it. It might lower their ceiling as a team, but to me, they should still be in the playoffs, so then you have an opportunity to at least win one playoff game. All right, we'll get to the Broncos next, but be sure to subscribe to the channel. We're going through this preview series. This is our 3rd division we're breaking down. We'll get to all 8 before week 1, and also we're covering everything else around the National Football League. Training camp updates, injuries, preseason action. We got it all for you guys, so hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and do not miss out. Okay, can Denver take another step forward? I thought they were one of the surprise teams in 2024. I think Vegas had them at over under 5.5 wins, and they won 10 games, largely due to their defense being one of the best in the league. But also, Bo Nix was better than expected. He played at least at a solid level. Now, the deep analytics, aren't as high on Nix. It kind of shows that it was not probably as good as what the raw stats would say, but he was the 6th quarterback drafted last year, and he played like one of the top 3. I thought he played pretty well overall. Certainly getting Sean Payton helps. And Sean Payton praised him pretty strongly, saying he'll be a top 5 quarterback within 2 years. I'm not going to go that far, but Payton believes in this guy. He also believes in this team. He said the short-term goal is winning the division, but this is a team capable of winning the Super Bowl. I've coached 6 teams that I thought could win the Super Bowl, some went to championship games, some to the playoffs. This is my 7th team that I think has that. That's a pretty strong proclamation from a guy who's coached a lot of good teams. Drew Brees had several teams that, like he alluded to, that he thought could win a Super Bowl. So for him to make that statement in year 3 as the Broncos head coach and in year 2 with Bo Nix, that's pretty strong. Now, I think the defense is Super Bowl caliber. I think it's going to be a top 3 unit. You've got Zach Allen, Nick Bonito, Dre Greenlaw, Pat Surtain, Talanoa Hufanga, Riley Moss, just to name a few players. They've got studs at all 3 levels of the defense. I think that side of the ball could be good enough to win a Super Bowl. The big question is, can Bo Nix take a big enough leap for this to become a true contending team? They made the playoffs last year, but everybody kind of knew, like, okay, they're not going to beat Buffalo. They're running with house money at this point. They're not ready to win a playoff game. So I think more of a natural progression and goal is, okay, kind of like the Chargers, get in and win a playoff game. I'm not convinced they're ready to go win a Super Bowl or even contend for one, but Sean Payton is, and he knows a hell of a lot more about his team than I do, so it's going to be interesting to watch. And then lastly, the Las Vegas Raiders, who I believe could be one of the most improved teams in the NFL. Why? Because they just have real credibility for the first time in years. I mean, they have key figureheads in key spots within the organization. They just feel like a real organization for the first time, really, in most of my life, if I'm being completely honest. Pete Carroll, he's a real coach. Yeah, he's in his 70s. No, he's not going to coach for 10 years. But can he right the ship on a 3 to 5 year timeline and hand it off to someone else? I think that's absolutely on the table. GM John Spytek worked under Jason Light, one of the best in the game in Tampa for a very, very long time. Like, he was highly regarded as an available GM. And then Geno Smith, whether you're high on him, whether you're low on him, he's just a real quarterback. Like, he's a solid player. This isn't Aiden O'Connell. This isn't Jimmy Garoppolo. Like, he's going to come in here, and even if he's not elite, at worst, he'll play at a top 20 level. He's been that for the last 3 years, top 15 for a lot of that stretch. I think their offense is going to be pretty fun and exciting to watch. I'm a big fan of Ashton, Jeanty. I like that pick. Brock Bowers, if he's not the best, he's a top 3 tight end in the NFL, arguably the best receiving tight end already. Jacoby Myers is a good player. I like Jack Besh and Dante Thornton, their rookies that they drafted. Trey Tucker has track speed. I think they're going to be pretty fun and a force offensively. It wouldn't shock me at all if they were a top half of the league offense and even flirted with top 10, especially if their offensive line can hold up. They extended Colton Miller recently. I liked Jackson Powers Johnson coming out last year. We'll see if he can take a step forward overall. If that unit can hold together, they should be able to run the ball with Jeanty, and Geno can kind of work play action off of that. The big question mark clearly for them is the defense, because they have one superstar, Mad Max Crosby. Who else is there, though? I mean, the Christian Wilkins thing blew up in their face. Defensive tackle is clearly a question mark. They lost Robert Spillane at linebacker and free agency. I think that group is questionable. Their secondary is a major question mark. They, to me, only have one starting caliber safety. Their corners leave a lot to be desired. So I think they're going to be stuck in a lot of these shootouts. Like, I could see this being kind of like a poor man's version of the Bengals last year, where their offense is going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. They might be top 10, top 12 in the league in scoring, but they just kind of get run off the field defensively. So that's my big question with this team is, can the defense do their part? Can they be the 22nd best unit in the NFL? If they're more like 28th to 32nd, I think this offense will be good. It's not Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and T. Higgins, though. They're not going to be able to hang in these games week in and week out. Okay, there you have it. All 4 teams in the AFC West. A little quick breakdown for you guys. Who wins it this year? Do the Chiefs win it for a 10th straight year? Do the Broncos take it? How about the Chargers, the Raiders? KC for the Chiefs, DEN for the Denver Broncos, LAC for the Chargers, or LV for the Raiders? I know it's become kind of trendy to go with the Chargers or the Broncos this year. Until someone dethrones the Chiefs, I'm going to ride that wave. I trust the coach the most. I trust the quarterback the most. Their defense is still very good on paper. I don't see it right now. I think the Chargers are very good. I think the Broncos are very good. I think the Raiders, that's a real game you have to circle now on the schedule. But I think the Chiefs win it. I do think, like last year, Denver and Los Angeles make the playoffs. I actually have Denver finishing second. I think the Slater injury, I'll bump up Denver there. Chargers finish third, but both make the playoffs. Raiders do not, but I think they're going to be like a scrappy 7-ish win team. I do think they'll be much improved, and they will be a tough out week in and week out. All right, guys, that's going to do it for our AFC West preview here on 4 Verts. If you missed our other previews that have already been published, the AFC South, the NFC South, go check those out by subscribing and going to the content tab. You can also go to the playlist 2025 NFL Divisional Series. That's where you can find all of these videos. And, of course, go check out all of our other content on the channel as well. We'll see you guys soon.